Brother Renee told me to hurry up because Dairy Queen closes. He wants to get there and be able to eat. So I'll try, brother. 45 minutes sound good? No. I won't talk that long, but... okay, there. Starting at verse 34. Then said Mary unto the angel, How shall this be, seeing I know not a man? And the angel answered and said unto her, The Holy Ghost shall come upon thee, and the power of the highest shall overshadow thee. Therefore also the holy thing which shall be born of thee shall be called the Son of God. And behold, thy cousin Elizabeth, she hath also conceived a son in her old age. And this is the 6th month with her, who was called barren. And this verse 37 is the verse I really want to just focus on for the next few minutes. It says, For with God nothing shall be impossible.
That's right. Amen.
I know something I got when they were 14, but it changes from state to state. But I drove a lot. With limited time I drove, though, I drove in the Carterville area. And with the limited time I drove, I've noticed something. I have a feeling that when I do start driving regularly, I will hate speed limits. They're so annoying. Because I was driving with my instructor, because I have to use hand controls. I was driving with my instructor one day, and we were in a 35, I believe, a zone that was 35 for about half a mile. And then out of nowhere, a stupid school zone hits me, and I have to go 20, and I have to drop down, and I can't push that limit because there's an instructor by me, and well, he could fail me, you know. I gotta go places, but so I instantly hit this 20, and I get so mad, and then down the road a little bit more, it goes to 45. I'm like, okay, go a little bit faster, and then again, out of nowhere, a 30. Never stops. But it's something I've noticed that there's a limit to where you have to go. And if you get caught past that limit, well, good luck to you. Cops hide in the craziest places nowadays. Every time I see one, I'm like, oh, okay. Didn't see you there. But there's always a limit, and the cops will tell you, you cannot pass this limit. Those are 2 words I hate to hear. Because the words cannot instantly makes you think, okay, this is a point where either, for some people it's a challenge. If you're one of those people that likes to go 70 and 60 and 50s and 45s, whoo! Again, have fun. But it's, when the words cannot come into your mind, for some it's either a challenge, but for some they think, okay, I can't do that. And I cannot go past that.
Right.
But there's some things that when the words cannot are applied, it's in a negative way. A speed limit, that's a positive way sometimes. But there's some areas in life where it's a negative thing. When somebody says you cannot do something, that could put doubt in somebody's mind that, okay, I can't do what I'm being told I cannot do. And sometimes that even limits people to trying what they can do. Me, all my life, I've been told, can't do this, can't do that, can't do this, can't do that. I'm like, okay, just make a list. And usually mark stuff off the list. But there's a lot of things that when you say you cannot, a lot of things come to somebody's mind. They think, okay, am I not able to do this because of something that has happened, or is it me? Is something else involved? And it doesn't make you feel good. I was actually riding my bike. I have a paper out, well, not anymore, but I did. I was riding my bike and I was just thinking of something, a situation where doubt could actually creep in, and I was thinking about how many players. I'm a huge Major League Baseball fan, and I love baseball, and I was thinking, okay, there are thousands of players in Major League, or hundreds of players in Major League Baseball. There's thousands more in high school, college, major leagues. All the time there's competition, the whole time that you're in there. And you have to compete with somebody for your job the whole time. Some players are not the best athletes, but they have great work ethic. Some are awesome natural athletes, but they have no work ethic. And then there's those that have both. And when you get to the point where one outweighs the other, sports are so broadcasted these days that the media says this person they're not this good of a player, they're not as good as this guy, or they're getting compared, and somewhere along the line that has to get into the player's head, and they start thinking, okay, I can't do this. And it's a limit that has been put on them. And I just started to think how tough that would be to deal with. For the player being told that he has come so far from the minor leagues or something, and be told he can't do this, that just basically has to pop the air out of his whole balloon of his whole life. And sometimes we get like that. I mean, you know the situation where it looks so dark that you think, okay, I can't. Somebody says, why are you even still trusting in God? Why are you still even trying to go through this situation when there's doubt all around you? And for some people, they just think, okay, what do I have to show for it? I've come this far and I have nothing to show for it. And we let doubt set in, and it limits what we will do. Some people listen to others very well. If you're like me, I don't listen very well. Right, Mom? I don't listen very well at all. I associate it with ADD, yeah. It's one of those. I have like 3 things they diagnosed me with. But some people do not listen well, which is a good thing. One of those people is Chuck Yeager. If anybody is familiar with Chuck Yeager, it was 1957, around there. He had just gotten back from World War II, where he had been a fighter pilot. And as soon as he gets back home, they ask him, okay, can you test flight a new jet? He says, yeah. So he gets home and he's hired to test this, an X-1, a new rocket-powered jet, fighter jet. Now, at this time, let me explain something. Jets could not basically go that fast. I mean, today, if any of you have ever flown, what happens is they take off and you hear this suction noise. And you hear, that's them breaking the sound barrier. And at this time, it was considered impossible to break the sound barrier, because what would happen is a pilot would be in the plane and he'd be flying, and as soon as you got near the speed of sound, the sound barrier, the plane would start to shake violently. And its natural reaction would be scared when something like that happens. I'd be screaming my brains out. But most pilots would just back off after that, and so it was considered, okay, you don't know what's going to happen past that limit, because that has been set that when it starts to violently shake, you've hit the speed of sound and you need to stop and slow down, and something bad's going to happen on the other side. But nobody had ever pushed the limit. And excuse me. And it's back in the 50s, it was considered impossible to break the sound barrier, and there was a limit of where it could go, and no one knew what would happen. But one day, Chuck Yeager took this new jet and hit the speed of sound. Now, here's what I thought about. I read this article about him, and in fact, he had 2 broken ribs from some accident with a horse just the day before, and he was testing this plane. And so it's shaking violently, and that's got to be painful. And I know it would be for me. But he hits the speed of sound, or the sound barrier, and starts to experience all this jolting and all this, but he keeps on pushing. He doesn't stop. He speeds up, and finally, they said what happened was the plane actually did a 360, and Chuck Yeager said he closed his eyes, and when he opened them, he was just right side up flying faster than the speed of sound. So he broke the speed of sound, something that was considered impossible by most, one person did because they decided to test the limit. You see, you don't know a limit until it's tested.
Right.
There are so many records and stuff that once you get to a certain point, people say, okay, that's as high as you can go. But as soon as you say that's as high as you can go, people are gonna think, okay, if I reach that, I'm actually doing something. But usually nobody ever tries to go after that. They usually don't try to go past that because if they try, they fail. There's a higher chance of them failing than anything. And so failure scares them off.
Right.
Our walk with